Hello, revolutionaries. People that are awake. I just thought I'd go through a few things to make sure that we're all on the same page and we understand what's happening in the world.
Good morning. I was listening to one of my favorite Australians, Malcolm Roberts. So this is what he said. Politicians should be warned. You've been able to get away with your dodgy deals for decades because of the apathy of the Australians. No more, he said. Listen to this. More people than ever are watching exactly what you're doing. They are not impressed. Thousands of Australians are waking up daily. You think you're clever, people see through it.
So, sanity for Sweden is a very good indicator of what the New World Order is thinking at the moment. They know that some people are aware of what's going on, but they also are aware that they don't understand 100%, put it that way. So he's always suggesting that the answer lies in a leader that will come forth and put the system back on track.
Who do we want to lead? Like Malcolm Roberts. I understand that he's got this ambition. He wants to lead. That's what it looks like. And then, of course, he's a great guy. But do people want him to lead? That's the question. You think you're clever, people see through you. They are watching exactly what you're doing. He's onto something here. Something is brewing. Or will there be a change even? I'm wondering. Or will people just move?
Right, to try and get more people to understand what's really going on, you only have to look at what the WHO are doing at the moment, and the American government and everybody, all the New World Order. They're pushing through the new health procedure that will allow them to basically rule the world if another pandemic hits. At the same time, giving Big Pharma the go-ahead to produce such possible pandemics under the guise of producing vaccines to combat them once they're released, or if they appear by natural procedure.
I wasn't aware of how extensive this pathogen sharing thing was. I mean, potentially if you're sharing pathogens, you could have the same pathogen that could mistakenly be released in 6 countries all at the same time, and then what chance would we have?
One of the things that
doesn't bear thinking about.
One of the things that happened recently came as a bit of a surprise, but it actually gives me hope that there are diplomats or bureaucrats around the world who do know the rules. Okay, and so there's many things we've been talking about, but in September, the United Nations got together and they were hoping to put out all of these various declarations about the Sustainable Development Goals and pandemics and universal health care and tuberculosis. And they had this same sort of procedure. They set up the meeting a year back on September 2nd, 2022. They scheduled a meeting for this year. And at the beginning of September this year, they circulated these documents as part of what they call their silence procedure. And the idea is if nobody says anything, then it means you're okay. Well, interestingly enough, on Sunday, the 17th of September, the day before all these meetings were supposed to start, 11 nations got together and wrote a letter to the president of the United Nations General Assembly. And they said, they literally, John, they used the word pretend. They said, we don't really appreciate that you're pretending that this high-level meeting speaks for the entire United Nations General Assembly. And they basically said, we object to this. And so what happened at the meeting was that they said, well, or the president of the General Assembly gavelled the meeting into open session. And he said, oh, well, we're going to start off with this declaration. And I trust that everybody here is good with it. And so subject to what these 11 nations demanded in a letter, he said, subject to, at some later date, we'll take this up with the full General Assembly, we adopt these. And that is how they roll, right? They then put forth the propaganda machine to make it sound like that was the full-on United Nations General Assembly putting their stamp of approval on it.
Now, moving on to the war and the Russia incidents, and how they say that because we're at war with Russia, we don't buy any goods off Russia anymore. But in reality, what they do is just buy goods from third parties. So Russia sells it to Turkey, and then Turkey sells the goods to us. It's just showing you that what you think is reality is not reality.
We have been hearing a lot from the European leaders about the need to, quote, decouple from China and Russia in the context of purchasing cheaper raw materials and natural resources. And while the trade relationships have significantly declined, some of the rhetoric is nothing more than a charade for the misinformed masses. While politicians may not care as much, but the business world knows that cheap materials mean bigger profits and happier stakeholders. Big companies are allowed to find leeways because they are the ones who subsequently support and lobby those in power. Additionally, the details that I'm about to share with you prove that reliance on natural resources cannot be switched on and off. Cheap energy resources enabled Germany's economic boom in the past years, and cheap energy resources also served as the backbone to a comfortable European lifestyle. It would be probably safe to say that the process of decoupling hasn't been going very well, as is evidenced by Europe's rapid economic decline. In a recent article, Financial Times shared that the EU is still buying Russian natural resources, just not from Russia directly. Supplies via third countries hide the EU's true dependence on Russian resources.
It's just big companies or big corporations making money off of us, and they don't even care what happens to us, as long as they're making money, if you can understand that. Because there's another point. You cannot say what you think on the internet because it's completely censored. 100% censored. Now, how can you say that you're free if you live in a world that has an internet that is 100% censored? Again, I'll say this to you. What do you want? Do you want a leader that's going to change the system? Or do you want to make a system where you effectively are the leader because you treat everybody like yourself and everybody else treats you like their selves? That's the only way. That's what's been awake, is understanding that principle. So join the PAEACP and let's create the world as it should be for everyone. Have a nice day.